Good morning, everybody. So today we are focusing on baby boomers. Baby boomers are fun. They're super popular. It gives a great alternative for somebody that maybe don't want a traditional pink and white. So this is more like a pink and white ombre, okay? So I've already prepped our nails for this demo. And basically what I've done was I pushed the cuticles back, I roughened the nail plate, taking off the shine. I dusted it off, I applied tips, ensuring that they fit from sidewall to sidewall. And I trimmed, shaped, and blended them out where the natural nail meets the artificial nail tip, okay? Then dusted them off with alcohol so that I have a dehydrator. And then I just bond. And just like any other time we talk about primer, make sure you're not over priming, only keeping it on the natural nail plate so that way you're not over flooding the hyponychium, eponychium, or the perinychium. Okay? So what we're gonna do is we are gonna do some baby boomers. All right. Let's see here. Get my brush wet. Make sure that it's nice and clean and it has a good shape to it. All right, so I'm gonna start with my, let's see, my white. Let me just, I'm just gonna stir these up a little bit. All right, so all of our prep work's been done. Now we're just gonna go into the baby boomer process. So what I like to do is I like to start in zone 1 and work my way back to zone 3, and then I'll come in and I'll encapsulate a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is barely dip my tip into my monomer, wipe it off, and I'm going to grab a bead that I could control. And I like to set it on the ledge of the nail. You'll see. I just put it on the ledge. All right. So then I just gently pat it. You want to make sure that you do this, thin enough that so that you could go back in and you could encapsulate it with some clear acrylic powder. And then you're going to feather back. So put it on the edge, pat it down, and then you'll feather back. Now you don't want your white to be a white smile line. So you just want it to be real like feathery. I'm actually gonna put just a little baby bead more, just a little tiny bead, right where I left off. I'm just gonna pat it over and I'm just gonna feather it back. And then taper it down so that way you have a nice smooth nail. All right, and then when you do baby boomers, it's really important that you have like a more solid pink, okay? You don't want a see-through pink. You don't, you don't have to necessarily use pink either. You could use beige. You could use other colors as well. But you want to make sure that there's good coverage. Like I'm going to use my medium dark pink because it has good coverage. If you use something that's sheer, it's not going to necessarily ombre out the way that you're going to want it to because you're going to see all the white underneath of it, okay? So I'll show you. I'm going to dip in my monomer, get some pink polymer, and I'm going to start, I like to start about right here, and I just kind of pat it across. And then I taper down. And you'll see that we're already getting a little ombre effect. And then I just keep working my way back. Remember, at your cuticle area, you want to be at a 45-degree angle with your brush so that you get it nice and flush next to the cuticle. That way your product is not lumpy as it grows out. All right, so I got my little ombre going on. Hopefully you guys could see that kind of well. Okay, and then you could go in with some clear and just encapsulate it so that as you file, you don't, your ombre doesn't change. If you don't encapsulate it, your ombre is definitely gonna change on you. So I would suggest just putting like a real thin layer of the clear on it so that when you do file, you know, you still have the same pretty ombre that you finished with. So there's one, and we'll do the next one. All right, so again, just the tip. And when I say I put it on the ledge, I literally put my bead and I kind of go like this. I wipe it on the ledge, and I'll show you. I tried to show you on the last one when I flipped it over, but it was about to run on me. So I take my bead and I wipe it just on the ledge. So it's like sitting on the ledge. You guys see that? And then what I do is I pat it down. Just pat it down, pat it back. And then feather. Feather it back. And then I'm going to add just like I did last time, just another little bead where I left off. And I'm just going to pat it back. And I'm just going to taper it where the other white meets. And I'm just gently feathering it back. Now you don't want, like I said, we're not looking for a straight line or a smile line or anything like that, because you kind of just want it to be not real like symmetrical and balanced like a pink and white. Then I'm going to grab my pink, and like I said, I start about here and I just pat it down. And then I'll pull a little bit so that the ombre starts taking effect. The pink and the white kind of like blend out a little bit. Okay. And then again, I just work my way back to zone 3. All right. So remember our angle at the cuticle area, 45 degrees, always a 45 degrees so that it's nice and flush back there. I'm going to add just a little baby bead right here because I could definitely see more white than anything right there, and I don't want that. And then I'm going to pull forward. And then I'm going to take my clear. And I'm just going to cap in my design, my ombre, my baby boomer, with a little clear so that when I file on it, I don't have to worry about losing my ombre. So you don't need a lot of clear. You just need a little bit just to cap so that when you do file, you're not losing your design. All right, so we got that one. Let me clean my brush and then we'll file them. And then always, just always, you know, we cover our product so that we don't get any debris in any of our product. And then just like I always tell you guys, you're going to take your file in the direction that you want your nail to take shape, okay? So just be mindful of how you're filing. And then go in with our round filing movements. And remember, when you're working your file or your product, I mean, from start to finish, your goal is to make sure that your nail is balanced from sidewall to sidewall and from cuticle to free edge. All right? So you want the same like thickness from sidewall to sidewall. And then you definitely want a thinner area in zone 3, your cuticle area, a little thicker in 2, and then thinner again in zone 1, so that it has a nice apex and it has strength. You definitely want strength there. And then once you feel like you have it nice and smooth and you're satisfied, go ahead and go in and do any of your finishing work with your e-file. And I'm just gonna go in. Make sure that your e-file is at a speed that you can control. You definitely don't want it like your e-file accidentally whipping around your client's nail or their finger, putting them at risk for cutting, you know, you cutting them or even yourself. So you want to be mindful of your speed and your control. All right, and then we'll do the next one. Again, taking my file in the direction that I want it to go. My nail to take shape. And then round movements, making sure that I'm not putting flat spots in my nail, staying in the one spot. Working that cuticle area so it gets nice and smooth. And like I always tell you guys, so long as you are laying your product really smooth and not too thick, you shouldn't have to file that much. You know, your finishing work should be fairly easy. So again, I'm going to go in with my e-file. At a speed that I could control. just gently doing any finishing work that I may need to do. And then I'll go in with my alcohol, or at this point you would send your client to wash their hands. But just so that you guys could see the ombre effect here. Can you guys see that? I hope you could see that. And then again with this one. This is really pretty. It's very simple. You know, you could charge just as much for this as you do pink and whites because it is a two-tone application. And it's a fun process to learn and to do. So, yeah. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. We'll talk about it during discussion and stuff. All right, thanks.